Hello and welcome to the Link Podcast. The Link Podcast is created to build community through conversation. We focus on stories of creatives, business owners, community leaders, and all-around interesting people from the community of Lincoln, Nebraska. We welcome you to come learn about your neighbors as we have conversations with them and discover their stories. All right.
Hey.
Welcome to the Link Podcast.
My name is Andy Morrison.
I'm Stephen Carlson, and today we have on
Addis Browne.
Woo!
She was really cool. She had a great story. Like, honestly, like, went so in depth and, like,
super open,
which is really cool.
Yeah, from all the way from being adopted from Ethiopia to living in Lincoln to starting her own salon and basically like creative center, I would call it.
And so like the whole journey in between, which is a lot. I can like really cool.
It's a super cool, unique story that I don't know if anybody else has that type of story. So
it goes way beyond just being a hairstylist. So I think that was really cool. And just kind of hits, I can't find the words, but like is the reason why we're doing this. It's because like people see Addis and like, oh, she's a hairstylist, but like she's way more than that. Like there's a story behind it. Yeah,
there's some really cool in-depth conversations that we go into that's way above and beyond just owning your own business.
No sweat.
No,
like we're just hanging out. You got your tea.
I am. Tea time.
Kai, are you ready?
He thumbs up before he knew.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, welcome to the Link Podcast. I'm Stephen Carlson.
I'm Andy Morrison, and today we've got on
Addis Browne.
Hey, Addis.
Hi.
And she is. Tell us all of the things that you're from or a part of or do. Or
what do you do in Lincoln?
So I'm a salon owner of Roots Collective. I'm a mother. I'm an artist, a singer, even though I haven't really sang much lately. But
very good from what I've heard. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, just doing hair, mothering, and I got married in August, so I'm a wife too.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Let's go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But you have kind of a little bit of a unique story of how you like just came to Lincoln to begin with.
Yeah.
So would you mind like jumping into like how did Addis get here, and now how is Addis a owner of a salon in Lincoln?
Okay. So I'm just going to tell the story, and if you have questions, just like stop me.
I'll interrupt.
I'll just keep going. So I was adopted at age 6 and from Ethiopia, from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. My parents are from Kansas. They moved to Lincoln, Nebraska because they had 2 biological sons that are both mentally handicapped. So they're 40 and 38, and they live at home with my parents still. So they're, full-time caregivers. But they came to Lincoln because the service is better here. And they adopted my sister Leah at age, she was like 3 days old. So straight out of the hospital, basically. Wow. Yeah. So that was all in Kansas. She is just a year and a half older than me. And she's mixed, biracial. So they all come to Lincoln and they're living their life and decide that they need one more kid. And my sister really wanted a sibling. So they look into Africa and they saw a picture of me and were like, yeah, she's the one.
She's the one.
It's like a catalog, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
mail order child? That sounds bad.
seriously though, it is like
Dude,
that.
looking at that's crazy in retrospect.
They kind of left it up to, I think my sister, she just had a big say in it.
That's cool.
There was another girl who they had their heart set on actually, and then she there was a civil war that happened, and so they weren't able to like get her. So I was like second choice, but nobody needs to know that part, right? So so I was adopted at age 6. I came to Omaha, Nebraska, like all of my parents and their sides of the family, cousins, aunt and uncles, all came to the airport. And this is like the first time that I'm seeing white people.
Yeah.
Can't speak English. Like I lived in this, city, but I was, like I had no idea what America was or what life I was kind of getting into.
And how was like the process of like, how did you know you were coming to the US?
Yeah.
Was it just kind of like, hey, you're leaving?
Yeah.
Or like
as far as I remember, there was a party, and I don't know if I knew if it was a going away party, but I was like the belle of the ball, like people were bringing clothes and gifts and food. But I'm pretty sure I just thought like, it's a party for me,
Yeah.
That's sick.
So I don't think I had any idea. And when I got off the plane, and I had a whole backpack full of stuff from Ethiopia, from my family there. And my adopted family had no idea that I had a family in Ethiopia. They thought I was an orphan. So the fact that that was kind of withheld information from my adoptive parents was like, what the heck? Like, did we basically steal this kid? But but they kept me, and we just, apparently I was just talking to my dad about this a couple weeks ago, but like I came home, and the first night I went to bed, like we came home, and I still remember our house smelling like fresh Dial soap. It was like so clean.
Just like perfectly.
Yes, it was like.
So weird how scent just.
It does.
Completely
Anytime I
brings you
smell
back.
that Dial hand soap.
Is it the Dial Gold?
Yes.
That's my least favorite scent of hand
Really?
soap.
I could have a candle of that stuff.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Man,
probably because of that.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
fair. I think I have like bad memories associated with it. That's probably why. Because I think it's like the soap that like was at school.
Totally. It was
Yeah.
like the soap of the 90s or something. I don't know. Early 2000s.
The soap that
Everybody
your parents
was-
Yeah.
rinsed your mouth out.
Yeah, that was it, probably.
Whenever I said bad words, well, I didn't do a good job because I cussed like a sailor.
Need more soap. Yeah. So, but that night I went to bed, and I shared a room with my sister, and we went to bed. I have no idea like what I was thinking, but got up the next morning, and I didn't know how to like wake her up because I didn't speak any English or anything. So I slapped her. She's like, whoops.
And how vividly do you remember this?
I do remember that pretty vividly. And I have a terrible memory, honestly. But I just remember coming down the stairs with her, and it was raining outside on the porch. And I remember like looking around the house for the first time, like looking outside and seeing the neighbors. Because when I came home the night before, it was like midnight, so I didn't, and I was tired. But yeah, that was kind of my first. My sister probably was like, send her back, like
Yeah, she slapped you.
slapping me in the morning. But I think one of my biggest character traits is I'm just really adaptable. Like you can kind of like set me in any situation, and I'm just kind of like, okay, let's roll with it, So even as a kid, even if I didn't know how to speak English or I didn't know what the heck was going on, my dad said I was listening to Ethiopian. I like brought a cassette tape of Ethiopian music and played that for a month or two, and probably was like, soul searching or something. My 5-year-old brain or 6-year-old brain. But then I started ESL or ELL that January, so a couple months later, and just started going to school, meeting friends, learning English, and then
What was that like? Like first, like going to school for the first time. I feel like that's
in Ethiopia, I did go to school. So I remember, like having that sit down environment with other kids or whatever. So maybe when I came
Or like
here,
in America, How different was it?
I don't think it was crazy different, like knowing there's a teacher and there's kids and we're in a classroom, but that it was a ESS, or I think they
English
call it ELL.
language learner.
Yeah, ELL.
ELL, yeah.
It used to be something else, but so all the kids were, not Native American. Native American.
native to America.
America. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. English speaking
It was like, you were trying to say it's diverse. Yeah.
Very, very diverse.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think
English wasn't their first language.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. English was not their first language. So I think it probably really helped that they were so diverse, and we all were kind of in that boat together. But I only did that for like 6 months and finished out the second semester. And then I went to Lincoln Christian and I did first grade again. And so for 12 years I went there and I graduated from there. And that was like, I think hugely fundamental in who I am and who I became. Just my parents, I think they made a big priority of like giving me as much, like love and connection and roots and as they possibly could. And even like they tried to find Ethiopian people to come to our house so I could talk to them, but I didn't want to. Like I refused to speak any Amharic to them, which was the native language. Yeah. For some reason, I don't know, maybe if I was told by my Ethiopian family not to speak that or whatever, but no, I just focused on this is where I am now, I think. So Lincoln Christian was really good, but really like lived in a bubble,
Yeah.
I was the only, maybe there was like 3 other Black kids in that whole school. It wasn't diverse. It wasn't, in any sort of way, culturally, religiously, like race wise. And so once I graduated from there, and about a year and a half or so, maybe just a year later, I went to hair school. And that's just been like, I've loved anything with beauty, fashion, hair. Like I would force my cousins to like sit there and I'd put makeup on them. Like anybody I could get my hands on, I would do their hair. So
and did you go to hair school here?
Yeah, I did. To College of Hair Design. I didn't really consider that being a career ever. But my parents were like, that's an option. We know you're not like a 4-year college degree type person. Try this out. So I did, and I just fell in love with it. But also it was just this whole world of like, I'm 20, I'm 21, like I can go out, like what is drinking? What are like boys? What's downtown? Like it's just like what? Yeah, it was just a real wide awakening to the real world. So I think that was like from 20 to like 20. I got pregnant when I was 24. Was just like me living my best life, and I dated this is like personal part of my story probably, but I think
elaborate as much as you want.
Okay. Through my 20s, I dated a really terrible, like emotionally abusive guy, broke up with him, and then found this really nice, sweet guy, and then got pregnant with him like 6 months later, and I had my daughter. And that was just like all happened within 3 years maybe. Out of like coming out of Lincoln Christian. So I think my life was just kind of like a whirlwind, and like who am I, and like my parents are probably like, where is she going, like trying to get a handle on my life. But having my daughter Samara at 20, I think I was 25, I had her, was really life-changing for me. I was kind of like single mom, broke up with him, and I knew that I still had dreams of my own. Like I wasn't going to let anybody define what single mom was going to look like for me, So no, where was I? So I'm 25. I'm a single mom, and I was scared. I found out that I was pregnant on a girls' trip to DC. We were going to visit another friend, and it was going to be like crazy. We were going to have so much fun. I was going to drink, do all the things, go out dancing. And then I was like, I think I might be pregnant, and took a couple tests, and it was like, oh my God, I'm pregnant.
Wow. On this trip in DC?
On this trip.
Wow.
Yeah. Like second day in, because I was like, I can't, I don't want to like go out if not finding out if I'm pregnant or not. So yeah, so it was a very like sobering trip. And I get back and tell baby daddy that he's having a baby, and he took that really well. But then my parents were like, oh my gosh. We told them at Panera so they couldn't kill us, you know.
That's a good place to go.
Yeah.
Very calm. Good, gets comfort food.
Super.
Smart.
Right over a bowl of
Go get another Danish.
Over a bread bowl, yeah.
over a bread bowl. Yeah. So, but over the next 9 months, I think, it was just kind of me steadily trying to figure out how, you know, like my life was going to work. And I had Samara, and what was I? Yeah, I think I was just kind of living my life at that point. But I was doing a lot of music too, a lot of writing and performing at like Scooters or where else, the Bourbon, stuff like that.
What do you think in that, like, in that kind of whirlwind or whatever, like you look back on, you're like, are you like in your head, are you like, oh, I needed that to get to here? Or is it like, man, I wish I could have skipped it? Or like what, I guess like what, like
now looking back.
Yeah, like now looking back, like that part of your life, like what do you think, like what's the biggest takeaway from it that you're like,
yeah,
how do I
mean, I think I always live like everything happens for a reason, for sure. I wouldn't suggest to anybody that a child is gonna like change their trajectory or anything,
sure.
you know. Like I think for me, if I hadn't had Samara, I would have, I think at some point still would have, it's not like I was totally off the tracks, like doing some drugs or something like that. You know, I was just kind of like, I was just living.
Trying things out.
Yeah, trying things out. Yeah. So, but I think just having her, the older I've gotten and the older she's gotten, has made me just dive deeper. And I think really, you know, like you just had a baby, like any parent starts to feel that, I think. Just like, holy cow, I have a child. Like now I have to like live with intention for real, you know? Because you want the very best for them. So, but in hindsight, I've never regretted any of the lessons that I've had to, you know, to take, because I think that's truly what I've needed to make me the person that I am, you know. That's just kind of, I think, my general outlook on life.
Were you working at a salon the whole time?
Yes, I was. I wasn't, I was working at
You're hustling, Addis.
Hustling, for sure. My middle name. No, it's not. But I hadn't gone off and like done my own thing business-wise yet. So probably when Samara was 2.5 or so, I met another guy who I had dated for about a year, and then maybe I think I was about 27 at the time, 28. And I thought we were going to get married. We were engaged. And then 2 days before we were supposed to get married, you know, and everybody's invited like 2 days before. So we're super ready to get married. I found out that he was cheating on me.
Oh, no.
And I found out through a random email that I'd gotten. And it was like his text conversation with this other person. So that was like world flipped upside down moment. I think another moment where, of course I had like weeks or months of like grieving and like, what the heck just happened and what am I going to do with this? But then we actually got back together and we went to counseling at Browne, and, you know, he was like, I'll change. I'm so sorry, all that stuff. And I gave that another go, but then a few months later, I kind of was just like, you know what, like I kept picturing a broken vase and then us trying to like put it together, and it's still always, it's not going to be as strong as it was before, you know?
Yeah.
So I broke up with him, and then like a week later, Amber, I don't know, you guys know
Yeah.
Amber. I was like,
Yeah.
y'all know Amber Smith?
Yeah.
But she was like, you should get on Tinder. So then I did.
Let's go.
Solid advice. And I think she was like, meet friends, go on dates, have fun. So I did. And then I met Sam, who's my current husband, and my current husband, as if I've had like a lot.
He's your husband now.
He is your husband.
He is my
Sam,
husband now.
the now husband.
Yeah. So relationship wise, that's kind of like what led me to Sam. But in between that time, business wise, like I said, I was a single mom, and I still had these dreams of like, I just don't want to be kept in this box. And like, I've always aspired to be a mom, but I've always also aspired to be a creative artist in whatever way I wanted to be, So I started this little suite called Salon Kaleidoscope, and it was just me running, a good sized space. And basically I gave myself like 2 years before I opened up another salon. If this goes well, then it would be my stepping stone to like open up my dream salon.
And was that kind of like always the intention when you first started school? Like,
oh no,
eventually I want to do this, or was it like once you got into the?
Once I got, no, I'd say not when I started school, because I guess I didn't know that was an option to have my own business.
Yeah.
But once I've been doing hair for 10 years. So probably 3 or 4 years in, I was like, I think I want my own space. And I knew that could be like a suite or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I heard I was in commission, and then I went to booth rental or a suite rental. So when I was building that place, I was already thinking like, ooh, but I could do even bigger,
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, let's do 2 years here and see how that goes. And it went really well. And then I started planning for opening up Roots Collective. And so when Sam and I were dating, that's when I kind of started making the plans to open up the salon, Roots Salon. And the name is like so important to me because I think as you relate it back to my life and like my roots and Lincoln, like our community, and I saw a couple therapists in between there that were my biggest issue, like identity wise, is probably like, what are my roots?
Yeah.
I'm like, and especially the older I get, it's like I'm this Ethiopian woman who doesn't really know that Ethiopian culture or African culture because I can't remember it, Then I was like dropped into Lincoln, Nebraska to a white family, and I don't really identify with that life, as much as somebody that probably looks like you guys,
Yeah.
It was always a little bit of an outsider, I guess. And then
And do you think you this, apologize if this sounds like it's bad or not, but like, do you think you put that construct on yourself? Like, I don't, like, purposely, like, I don't fit in because
No.
I'm this? Or do you think it was just like, you always just felt that like internally?
I don't see it as a negative thing at all, but I think it's just the truth. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, if I were white and I grew up here and I spoke like white people, like I do right now, right? Then it's just like I'd fit in. But the fact that, let's talk about that for a moment. Like, the fact that I'm Black and I speak like I do is a problem for some Black people, because apparently I'm not Black enough.
Yeah.
So that's kind of also been like the issue. But again, I'm not saying that that's a negative thing. It's just part of like, now that I'm 31, and it's like, who is Addis Browne, know? And I'm kind of on that like self journey of, like, how can I use my voice to like relate to all these things that I can relate to because I am me, you know, instead of like trying to fit into like this box.
Yep.
You know what
I
I'm
can
saying?
only relate to you,
Yeah.
and I can only relate to you, where you're like, I can relate to all these things.
I can relate to single mom. I can relate to being Black. I, you know, like, yeah. And I think that's, for a long time, it was a issue, or not a problem, but it was something that I just couldn't like grab. I couldn't figure out how I felt about it, you know, but now it's like, the more I'm kind of outspoken about, because I'm one of those people who work through things by talking through them, you know? So the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, it's a beautiful thing. Like, this is just who I am.
Yeah.
And some people still like have an issue with that, I think, because I don't react in ways that they think I should, or I don't talk in ways they think I should, but
just who you are.
It's just who I am. Yeah.
That's all you need to be.
Yeah. It's so true.
I think that's really cool, like unique and like beautiful all at the same time, because like you said, it took you probably years and years and years to really figure that out. And I feel like just outside, like looking in at like what like Roots has become, like I can just see like that. Like, I've never heard you say that before, so just so everybody knows, I'm not like, it's not something I've heard before, but like I can totally see that now in what Roots has become. Is like, it's just like a cool, diverse place where you can just be who you are.
Yes. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. Thank
good,
you.
Stefan. Come on.
So I mean, that's just like what I see.
Yeah.
So
and that's
it's really
exactly
cool to
what I
hear
wanted.
like that heart behind it.
Yeah. Thank you. That is exactly what I wanted our salon to be. And I think that's something that was like, for me, before I opened up the salon, it was kind of like, why am I doing it? You know, like, what's my purpose? And am I really going to be satisfied or fulfilled by pursuing that? But I felt like Lincoln, first of all salons kind of look the same, not just in Lincoln, but just in general. They're like black and white
concrete
and
floors,
JCPenney's kind of thing.
Black chairs and
exactly.
You can close your eyes and think about what your salon looks like.
Yes. Exactly. So you guys know Tara Miller from the Heartland, maybe. She helps with Love the Locals and stuff like that. But she just helped me design a really cool space that I felt like was unique and really, you know, really reflected the diversity of like being a hairstylist, but also like having this this artistic space that can invite all different types of people, you know, where everybody feels just super comfortable and casual and relaxed, and that they can be themselves. And I do think that's super. I think that's one of my missions for sure, is like,
how did you find the building? Because it was like that building was a piece of junk.
It was
for a long time.
So
like, how did that kind of come about? I know, like,
do you know the Flower
I find
Days?
that stuff interesting because like
it's kind of what you're into.
It's kind of what I'm into, but it's like I always drove down that street and everybody's like, a salon can't survive, or a lot of stuff. A lot of people say like stuff can't survive downtown unless it's a restaurant or, you know, a handful of things.
Yes.
Like, what made you like, that's the building. Yeah, let's do it. Like, what kind of made you? How'd you find it, and how did why
grow? Did I settle on that? So, do you know the Flower Days, Luke and Seth Flower Day? So they're like the Property Brothers. They're twins, and they bought the building, and one of their girlfriends, who's now their wife, his wife, one of the brothers' wives. It's not like a sister-wife situation, but so she is my client and said, you know, that this building is available and I could go look at it. And I knew that I was envisioning like, you know, old floors and exposed brick and, you know, open ceiling type thing. And I really wanted something downtown. And I think like, I don't know if this is like a creative person thing, but when you just feel it in your gut, like you just like you're set on
Yeah.
it, you know, and you know it's gonna work. So I saw it and I was like, yep, like this is definitely gonna work. And it had everything. The only issue was like it's upstairs, and I think, you know, people would be like, but there are stairs and people are going to have to like take stairs to get up to your salon. And it's like, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And if they want
Yeah.
their hair done, that's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think I just had like that gut feeling of this is what it needs. You know, this is what Roots needs. And what was part 2 of your question?
How you found the building. And then
And what made me decide?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I guess I answered it.
you kind of answered both of them.
Good.
Did you walk in the space for the first
Oh.
time and you were just like,
Holy,
I don't know if this is going to work or not?
yeah. I have
But you saw the potential in it.
I
which-
saw the potential for sure. I have like a problem maybe of seeing too much potential in things sometimes. But it was like holes in the floor, like where you could see, you know, levels down. And it had the frame walls were
Yep.
framed. But that was about it. It was like some of the oak floors were covered in tile, and you know, things were it was trashed.
And
But
what
yeah,
was it before?
it was Schwartz Printing apparently
Okay.
before. And then before that it was apartments, because we had a client that came up and she was like, oh my gosh, like 20 years ago my boyfriend used to live right here. This was his bedroom. We're like,
That's crazy.
I had no idea.
Whoa.
That'd be so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. To like walk into
That
a
would be
business
very
and be
strange.
like, I slept here.
Slept here. Okay.
Right in his very spot.
Yeah.
So weird.
That's crazy.
And then you were probably like,
I
oh.
was like, cool.
Thanks.
Did you draw your name on the wall?
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah. It was interesting. All sorts of like floral wallpaper, and those old buildings are,
Just cool.
Yeah.
they are like, we can't let them knock down anymore because
Mm.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm with that.
they be renovated. But yeah, so the salon was opened it's been a year and a half. I don't know what year it is. 2020.
2020.
Yeah.
What
So
was like
2018.
we kind of talked about it a little bit, but what was like the intent behind it? Like, was it just like, I think we talked about it some, but like, what was
Yeah.
like did you put in like a make a business plan? Like, how does somebody like,
I didn't.
how does somebody, I mean,
Yeah.
start a salon? Like, if you were talking to like somebody that's like eventually going to want to start a salon, like, how would you say to do it or not to do it?
Not to do it.
Yeah.
So I don't think I knew what to do. Like and now I can say all of these things, but I didn't know what to expect or really what I was like getting myself into.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was just like, I want to create a space that's going to be warm and inviting, and a place where like people can't wait to get their hair done, you know?
Yeah.
And I like envisioned really cool hairstylists and just this really cool energy and vibe, which I'm so proud that it has all of those things, you know? Like
Yeah.
I just still walking in to our salon every day, it's like, God, I can't believe I work here, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
it's just a cool spot. But I didn't know what I didn't know. And I think that was like the fun part, you know? It's kind of like when you have a baby. No, you guys don't know about that. It's kind of like when you push out a baby.
I don't know that part.
You don't know how
I know the
painful
after
it's going to
part.
be. But yeah, but then you do it and then it's amazing and it's glorious. But would you like want to push out another baby 30 minutes after that? No.
Probably not.
You know,
yeah.
it's just like, so
Yeah.
it's just, I mean, I would do it again now, but
That's a very good analogy, honestly.
Wow.
Because like I've heard
Maybe
people
not
talk,
having a baby.
yeah, talking about like a business where it's like, was it worth it? Yes.
Yes.
But would I do it right now? No.
No. Yeah. You got to like forget about the pain a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
I go through that every project we do.
Yeah. It's so,
It's like you get halfway through and you're like,
why am I doing
I don't know why. I don't know how this is going to work. And then at the end, you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Of course, I knew it was going to
Yeah.
work that whole time. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. And I think there's a huge I mean, yeah, delegating and hiring people to like do what you don't know how to do should be like business 101, you know, because like I'm not an accountant, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not, you know, I don't know how to start up websites and stuff like that. So I hired all those people or traded services or whatever I could do to like make that work, and stuck to what like I'm good at. So yeah, I think once I saw the space, then the next thing was like and I'm also really, I have the advantage of like a dad who's a business entrepreneur and who has helped me kind of like line my ducks in a row, you know?
Yeah. Like you set out the plan. You're like, hey, Dad, poke holes in it.
Totally.
Make sure I'm not totally going to fail.
Yes, exactly. Or get yourself in a legal bind or anything like that, you know? Which is really important. Like as much of everybody, and I don't know why there's such a push for everybody to be an entrepreneur. I hate that word.
Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because it's not for everybody. Like it's, besides like you need the gut instinct and intuition and like motivation and all these things that are like some people have that and some people just don't, you know? So if you don't have those things and you try to start a business, I feel like it's not going to go well because you have to motivate yourself, you know? So, but besides that, it's like so much, just the legal stuff and getting people lined up to do, you know, all that hard work. So I have learned a lot about what not to do. And that would be, I think that would be, or what to do. And that would be having a plan, like have a blueprint. I'm just wasn't one of those people, but that's something I learned about management and about making a plan, you know?
Yeah.
That would be super helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
That's super sick.
What's like, because you guys do more than just hair, it seems like what's kind of like, how has the space like kind of evolved? And then we can jump into questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm into that.
Yeah. So we host First Friday. Even we didn't do one for January, February, and probably March because winter. Nobody wants to go out.
Nobody wants to walk around.
We're a little bit off the grid, you know, so it's hard enough to get people in that area, which it's like, come on down to 11th and M.
Yeah.
Besides the night before, like we're here. So,
and Method's there.
I know, but Method's moving.
Oh, they are? I didn't know that.
I think it's public news.
It is now.
Oops. Yeah.
I know it too. So maybe.
Where are they moving?
Not too far. Where?
8th and N, I think.
8th and N.
They're gonna be like in, I think, like 8 N's like lobby.
What?
Who?
The lofts.
8N loft.
On 8th and N.
Oh, really? Interesting.
I think.
Really?
Don't quote me.
Move.
Also,
we're just starting rumors.
This could be all a lie. For those of you listening, this is all a dream.
This is all a dream.
But yeah, that's what I've heard too.
Interesting. 8N lofts.
A little birdie told me. Not gonna specify.
Such a bummer. I love them in that area.
It's a good little spot.
Yeah, I know.
But it's like, gotta respect people's dreams.
I guess. No, it's true.
Sorry, guys.
So yeah, we have First Fridays. And then so they'll have their art up the whole month, which is really fun. People can buy, like our clients that come in can buy the art all month. And I want to have more music, like more shows, acoustic nights and stuff like that. Yeah, the last year I've just been personally like getting married and like buying a house and trying to get the salon up and going. But this year and for next year, I want to do more community because that's, a lot of our passion. And that was one thing that I wrote in my journal of manifestations that like, we just have, Lincoln is just this awesome community, and we do have a lot of unique people and artists and creatives, and just to have a space where we can host that is super important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that for just Lincoln in general.
Yeah.
It's just cool to be able to have just one more place to have that happen.
To hang out.
Because
create opportunities.
it seems like there's like everybody kind of has their spheres, and the more like we can just like merge those.
Make it one really cool blob.
We're
working on it, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the intention of the podcast, but
I think that's
I was
really
just trying to just kind of.
We're working on it. Not Lincoln's working.
Yeah.
All right, trying. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I think my McDonald's Sprites made me a little kooky.
Well, should we jump into some questions here?
We dive into some questions. I have kind of one. Like, do you think as you've gotten older, have you had like any interest like that interest in like learning about like your culture, like where you're from? Has that grown in any sense, or has it like always been like the just like not really about it?
That's a good question. I haven't been back to Ethiopia. Sorry.
Okay.
I definitely would love to, now that I have like Samara and Sam. Like I'm probably going to go back with like a whole airplane full of people that are like, I've been dying to go to Ethiopia with you, you know?
Yeah.
So I would love to, and like learn more about that culture. I guess, to be honest, a little piece of me feels like a Ethiopian fraud or something, you know, where you're like, that is who I am, but I'm so disconnected from it for me to like hop back and be like, hey guys.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to say hey guys in Amharic, you know?
Yeah.
It's just
that's not your fault either.
Right. It's not. And so it's just like, starting and like, where do you start and how do I do that? But there is this really cool Ethiopian restaurant downtown. It's not downtown. It's on like 27th and Orchard.
Yes.
I ate there just last night. Have you guys been there?
No, I've been to the one in the Omaha. It's
What's it called?
I don't know what the one in Omaha is called.
I forget what it's called too, but it used to be a Pizza Hut because it's like shaped like a Pizza Hut.
Hey, what's the one in Lincoln?
It's called Turu. Tiru.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So good. Like, so good.
I love Ethiopian food. I'm curious just about like that because I grew up like I was like really close to the family, like half from Ethiopia. Yeah.
Really?
So like my like best friend growing up, like his mom like came from Ethiopia and his dad is from Indonesia. So
oh wow.
It was a really cool. Like I like spent probably more of my time there, like in elementary school. Like then I did.
Do you want to come back to Ethiopia with me?
I'd go to Ethiopia.
Okay, well, add you to the
yeah,
plane.
add me to the list, and then
make the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really important, but not in the way that I feel like I need it for my identity. Like for me to figure out who I am. It's
more just curious of.
Yeah, it's more like I get to.
Yeah.
I get to learn more about that, and it's like a privilege too, because it really is a beautiful culture. But that Ethiopian restaurant, it's owned by a woman from Ethiopia, and she used to be a hairstylist and had her own salon there. Yeah. She's like the sweetest person. And I'm like, but she's not that busy yet because she's only been open a few months. So I'm like, we need to do like an event there and get everybody, because people just don't know about it. Yeah. You know?
I had no idea about it.
I heard of one, but
okay, let's all meet there next Friday, 7:00.
I can't do Valentine's Day. Just kidding. Most definitely can't do Valentine's Day.
Ooh, Valentine's Day.
That's not next Friday. That's this Friday.
Yeah, no, that's what she said. Next Friday, because this Friday is Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah,
okay.
exactly.
I understand what you're saying.
Thinking ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, come on, guys. I'm not as dumb as you think I am.
Get it together. Sorry, we haven't had McDonald's tonight, so we're a little behind.
I had one McDouble.
Our pink slime, it hasn't hit us yet.
Nope.
Gross.
I haven't had McDonald's in a minute. I think the last time I'm not judging. I was gonna get McDonald's with Kai coming back from Omaha one day, but we ended up not because he didn't want to stop.
What a shame.
Kai's just nodding.
And
for those of you who are listening to the audio,
the only thing I consumed that morning was just coffee from Omaha, and I got a lot of coffee.
Rally coffee?
No, from Archetype.
Ooh.
Some Ethiopian coffee. Go full circle.
Good. Nice.
But yeah,
You're welcome.
thank you.
For that Ethiopian coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good question though.
I was just curious. It was fascinating to me.
Yeah.
But here's some questions from the internet.
Oh, we had some questions
Yeah.
from the internet?
Oh,
Or did
man.
you just Google questions?
That's undisclosed or undisclosed? Kind of shook his head
It's
in
fair.
unsurety. Let me know what's correct. Whoever's listening. Thank you.
Call in right now.
Yeah. We're too bad we're not live. Oh, we should do this live sometime.
I
should.
asked
That'd be
Stefan.
fun.
Yeah, I was like, is this live?
Yeah, I was like, no, don't worry.
Thank
That'd
God.
be kind of fun.
It would be fun.
It would be
Okay,
fun.
I got a question, and it's kind of it's a big one. It's
Okay.
a left hook. What's the biggest challenge that you've overcome?
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. The biggest challenge that I've overcome would be, I mean, it sounds so cliche, but I don't know if I've overcome it, but I'm really working hard to overcome it. And it's just like loving myself, you know, because now that you've heard my story, I think it's like, I think people think like my life is just so easy, or like people have a perception of what it is. But I think, I mean, you know, and that's with anybody really. But for me to accept all of these parts of me and accept it as just me, and that's okay, you know.
Yeah.
It's been like a really huge huge part of like overcoming, and I think it's just leading into, you know, like a cooler path of whatever's in my future. Somebody said like the 30s are way better than the 20s, and now that I'm 31, I'm like, yes, 30s are good.
I'm getting there. Close.
You guys are getting there. Yeah.
Close.
I got pretty much a whole decade. I got a whole decade of being unsure
I
of myself.
suck.
Yeah, but now you're here like listening to everybody.
That's why I'm here.
That's why you're
I'm trying to
here.
learn.
You're gonna be like,
Try to make these 20s not suck.
yeah. Exactly. That's all one can do.
Exactly. That's super sick. And also, thank you for making yourself so vulnerable and sharing your like story with everybody.
Yeah,
That's super cool.
Absolutely.
It's just one move towards that challenge, I suppose.
Yeah,
I
that's
just-
true.
yeah,
That is part of it.
That's what we try to make this podcast. Sometimes it's hard to like really dig into that type of stuff because people have to be okay with themselves.
Yes.
Like
So
you have to
true.
be okay with yourself to share.
Yourself with
Yourself.
others. Yeah, it's 100% true.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got a few other ones. Things you wish you would have known before starting a business.
Oh, yeah. That is a good question. Things I wish I would have known.
Or just like a thing, like something
Yeah.
that like you ran into and you're like, man, like I don't know that. Like what kind of halted you?
I didn't think about like looking back. Like I can look back and be like, man, it would have been a whole lot easier if I knew this. But if I didn't go through it, I wouldn't really know it.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was thinking. It's like, also, I love unplanned things, you know? Like I think riding by the seat of my pants. So it's like if I would have known it, then it wouldn't have been as fun of a journey, honestly. But I also feel like with opening a salon, there's less room for error than probably, I don't know, like if you're literally building a building like what you do from scratch, like the roof could fall down on people, you know?
Yeah.
And you could kill them.
It's true.
Not to be morbid, but
Know your roofer.
but like with a salon, there's just I wouldn't say it's been easy at all, but the steps that I took were were not logical, but like they just kind of came in sequence, you know, so I could kind of figure it out as I was going,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And there wasn't like a cliff you would step off of and you'd be like, I can't come back from this.
Yeah, I don't think there was. No, I think one thing I wasn't prepared for was like managing. Because there's 5 other stylists that work with me, and we all get along really great. We're, you know, friends and all these wonderful things that I wanted. But that's just a part of the business that like I wasn't expecting, maybe.
Yep.
And it's been fun. It's been definitely a part of myself that I'm learning to like accept, maybe. Because I'm reading that Browne book called
Radical Acceptance or something like that.
Dare. Amber just gave it to me. Dare to Lead.
Oh, yep.
Dare to
I
Lead.
don't
That's
know
it.
books very well, guys.
I don't know books.
Yep.
But just accepting that role of like leadership.
Mm-hmm.
I always try to like downplay it, but it is like.
Yeah, I always tell everybody everything would be super easy if humans were involved. You know?
So true.
Because it's not because I don't like humans.
Yeah, but
it's
we're
just because
complicated.
if I could just program a computer to do everything, it'd be really easy.
It's so true. Humans we're just complicated and have good and bad days and all that.
Yep.
And I think with hairstylists especially, and with just hairstylists, it's like we're emotional, and not in a bad way. We're just feelers, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you're creatives.
Yeah. And
like,
we're
honestly.
totally.
I mean, anybody who says like hair isn't a creative outlet is an idiot.
They are, honestly.
Because you're literally shaping the way somebody looks. Like you're painting a picture of who they can be.
Yes.
So,
exactly.
and you have to see that.
was
You have to
great.
see that before you start cutting their hair, because it
Before
could
we
look
just-
really bad.
It's so true. It is 100% true. And I think people are like, maybe in the last 5 years, that's starting to like catch on. Like this is a real career, and like we're taken seriously.
Yeah.
But yeah, before it was just kind of like I would be cutting somebody's hair and they'd be like, "So are you going to school for something?" And we like heads,
Come on, guys.
palm to forehead. What did they say? Palm?
Palm to the
Face
face,
palm?
face
Yeah.
palm.
Yeah. Palm to face.
Okay, I've got a few. So you answered this one kind of, so I'm gonna skip that. And then simple one. Do you have a favorite hair product?
Ooh.
Oh, shout out Evo products and Milkshake, which is what we carry in the salon. I'd say Whip It Good is my favorite.
That sounds tight.
You're like, I'll buy it.
What is it?
It's a mousse. Well, you don't have curly hair, but you could still use it.
I got it. I have like
Nobody has
the
curly hair. Finest.
thinnest, straightest hair possible.
Maybe if you scrunched a little Whip It Good in though. Did
It
you
would.
you use some Evo products once? Kai, right? Did you like it? He just shrugs. Yes, he loved it.
Yes, he loved it. He said yes, very much.
He said yes.
Evo products.
I bought all of them and I use them all.
Bye.
So I have a question with the products then.
Yeah.
So like I feel like that would be a tough thing. Did you already have the products picked out that you wanted to use, or
No.
did you like? I just feel like that's a whole world of like.
It is, because there's so
how
much
the
out
heck
there.
do I know what to provide somebody, or what I want to provide?
I think I
guess.
asked God, honestly, because it just like came in the salon door, and this woman was like, "Here's some." I asked for like God for natural organic products that are like a boutique line that people can't just buy off of Amazon, that like not every Lincoln salon has. And this like product rep came in, was like, heard, a new salon was here. Didn't know if you guys have any products. Here's what we sell. Yeah. And she had
Wow.
Evo and Milkshake. And Milkshake is like plant-based, all organic, like everything smells so good. And then Evo products are from Australia, and they're like, they have all these funny captions and names like Whip It Good. And it
Whip
has
It
like,
Good, mate.
yeah, Whip It Good.
Okay, I had the Australian.
It's a mousse. What was that? Say it again.
I said it in Australian accent.
Let's hear it.
Whip It Good.
Wow.
Shout out Carl Birchley.
That was really good.
Thank you.
I'm not even going to try accents because I'm the worst. Whip it. No, I'm not going to try it.
You
wanted
just said
to.
you weren't gonna try it, and you tried.
I wanted to so bad. But yeah, I truly believe, even with the small things, you ask for it and the universe will bring it to you.
That's
Sweet. It's just
That's
like,
so crazy. That
honestly,
happened like that.
yeah.
I feel
Just
like a lot of times too, like if you put it out there, it's even more like you're even more zoned in to when it happens. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
maybe the universe doesn't all of a sudden just like plop it in your lap and you're like, oh great, I wasn't looking for that. But a lot of times it's like you're thinking about it, then it takes that little extra like nudge to be like, oh yeah, that is.
There it
It's
is.
like if you
That's what I
buy a blue car,
Yeah. And
like all of a sudden you start seeing all the other blue cars because you're already thinking, oh, I have a blue car.
Yeah.
So
it's so weird how that happens. And it's just the law of attraction, right? You're like always thinking about it, and then it's like coming towards you. You're like,
hey,
hey, there it is. I was just thinking about you.
I had no idea.
But really, you'd been planning it for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird how
Super
that happens.
Okie dokie. What's one thing you wished every client knew before getting their hair done? Wait, is that how you say it?
Ooh, there's like
Yeah.
a few. Let's see. I wish that clients knew how. Oh, I wish that people knew that you can't go from dark hair to blonde hair in like an hour and pay $50. You know, it's like hair. This is like gonna be you explaining how people make these black plastic things. Like, but for a second,
Carbon
I'm gonna
black.
break it down.
Shout out Steven.
It's like when you lift hair, when you have very dark hair like mine that's black, and you want to go, and I say like inside of a banana yellow, like very pale yellow, you have to lift through levels of color. So you lift through black to red to orange to yellow, like red orange to yellow, like outside of a banana to like the inside of a banana where there's no color molecule left. So that's why it's difficult to like lift hair and expect it to be like, oh, I have this beautiful blonde, like cool blonde, you know,
Platinum.
natural color. Yeah. And especially if you've had previous color on your hair, like if you did red or purple or whatever, or even dark brown, and you want to like lift through that artificial color, it just makes it really hard for us. Not saying it's impossible, but like I wish, it's kind of like when you're at a restaurant and you start getting really mad at the server because the food's not out yet and like they didn't have the green beans that you wanted, but really it's kind of like the kitchen's fault because they're backed up, and like it's not even their fault because Cisco didn't bring the green beans that day. You know,
Cisco.
it's just like
It's not Cisco's fault because those green beans are out of season.
it's not even the farmer's fault because there was
climate change.
There's climate change. It's true. It's just like some things are just out of our control. So we always try to tell a client like we'll just do the best that we can, and we'll try to get you blonde today, but you're gonna have to pay a lot more than that.
And hang out for maybe a few hours at least.
Yeah, we have coffee and water. It'll be fun.
You can
We play good music.
Uber eat some food.
What makes a great client and what makes a terrible client?
Ooh, gosh.
Oh, come on, we're getting.
Without saying names. Just kidding.
Yeah, don't say
say
because I think about that all the time in my business, because it's like we just did a kitchen remodel, and it's like, man, I wish I had like 30 of those because it was so easy.
The kitchen remodels or
yeah,
like
or
the
the
client?
The client made it so easy
Why?
just because they
They have the creative freedom.
Well, one, creative freedom. Two, like they just trusted what we were doing in their house. And three, they like were just laid back if something had to change, because it's like it's construction.
It's funny how similar this is. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
so
just gonna say
it's I
those
don't
things.
know. I'll let you speak,
No,
but
it's so
it's very
true.
similar to what I'm talking about.
it's so true, because again, like with construction, it's like especially I'm sure if you're like renovating an old house or something and you knock down a wall and then there's like a hole and there's a leak and a bunch of stuff going on. It's like that's out of your control.
Yep.
You can't like build something there because there's tons of things that are out of our hairstylist control. But when a great client is somebody that sits down and it's like maybe shows a Pinterest picture and they're like, I love this, but you do what makes sense for my face shape and my texture of hair, and
They just trust
they
you.
just trust us. Yeah. And probably somebody that also this is gonna be kind of personal for me. Just like respecting somebody's time, you don't have all the time in the world to consult outside of the salon with somebody. So just like respecting that, like, if it's our day off or we're not in the salon, it's probably because we're sleeping because we need to sleep, or you know,
or you're hanging
spending
out with your
time with our
family,
family, or all those things. It's just like, I think with any business, because a lot of people are freelancers now too, like, because you saw somebody working out at the gym in the middle of the day and you couldn't get into them for like 4 weeks, it's not because they're lying to you about something. It's like they're having personal time at the gym that doesn't, you know, have really anything to do with you.
Amazing hair doesn't come without good workouts.
It's true. It is so true. We can't do our best work if we're not strong enough to do it.
Yep.
But that, yeah.
That's our last question.
But
I do have to shout out EJ one more time. This guy was, if you are listening to our podcast, last time we asked questions. Same man, EJ.
Man, he's killing
What did
it.
he say this time?
He's just all over it.
Did he have questions?
No, he just says shout out.
He goes, yo, the Link Podcast. My name EJ. Follow me. I want you on my team. Let's win 2020. Fire emoji.
Fire,
EJ, I already told
Second
you. If you
time.
listen to the podcast, I already say I'd be on your team, dude. To be a real one and listen to the podcast, EJ. Or I'll retract my team offer. I'll trade to the Suns.
Anything that you would like want people to know about what you do, and like about, I guess, like future of what you're trying to do, I guess.
Yeah. I think just in general, like with the salon and stuff, what I'm trying to do is just create a space and potentially more spaces that allow people to just be who they are. And I feel like it's fun for us because the clients that we attract are normally the ones that want, you know, to be in our environment and then to trust us to just let us do what we can do to like make them feel better. And when, you know, it's like when you feel good, when you look good, you feel good. And that's the truth. If you had like a crappy haircut or a weird color job, you just like don't feel that great. So I think with and there's a lot of people going into the hair industry, like just knowing that it's way more than skin deep. Like we are psychologists, like we're therapists, you know, yeah. And I've had clients that have been with me for like years, and I've been with them through all the ups and downs of life. It's just like I think it's the most fun job. Like I just love what we do and like how we get to have that one-on-one time with a lot of people in town, you know?
I think that's really unique too. Like
it's so fun.
Not a lot of people, I mean, in a lot of businesses, you don't have that like unique one-on-one time that's like an hour or 3 hours long where you're just with one person. Yeah. I mean, I don't even think half of the people have that with their spouse or with their family. You know what I mean?
It's so true.
So that's really,
that is
cool.
Crazy to think about.
Yeah. And like, you know, that physical touch too, it's like people have to be kind of, because we're like in your hair, you know, we're like touching your head and in your space. And so I think people just kind of like have to be vulnerable. And if it's not like the first time they're visiting us, it's like, you know, second, third, fourth time. And I think one of my biggest lessons from that is like how that quote about like everybody's fighting their own battle, you know, is so true. And it helps me to have like more compassion on and more empathy and more like I just realize more that we connect in more ways than we don't connect, you know, like all the things I've gone through in my own life, and I sit there and I'm talking with somebody and they're, you know, they just started up a business, or they're a single mom, or they just got married, or, you know, they have came here from China and don't know anything about America. It's just like so fun to sit there and to connect with that person and hear their story. And so I think oops, just hit the mic.
It's all good.
Yeah, I think it's just I think what I would want to leave people with is part of the reason that I wanted to come and I was thankful to be invited to like come and share my story is like, we are all humans trying to do our very best, right? And like we talked about earlier too, when we're able to like love and accept ourselves and we're able to share our story, and then that we can connect, and at the end of the day, that's like what we all long for, is connection and to be like authentic and true with each other. So whatever you're doing, like just love yourself so you can love other people. And I think you'll be like, we'll all be more fulfilled if we can just do that. Wow, that really turned into
that was great.
Amen, right?
Come on.
Church is over.
Hey.
Wow. And did you have any more questions?
I don't think so.
You guys had great questions. Thank you.
You had great answers. Like,
Thank
seriously.
you.
Yeah. No, thank you for coming on here and sharing everything with us. That's
absolutely
very rad.
What's the social handles if you want to throw
shout
them out?
yourself out.
So our salon is, gosh, I should like look it up to double check, but it's Roots Collective LNK link.
Yeah.
And then I am now a curl specialist.
Ooh.
So I only accept new clients that have curly hair, any sort of wavy or textured hair. And
Man,
then if
so you can't cut my hair.
I can't. If you try to book an appointment and be like, no, Andy,
sorry,
Go home,
your hair is
Andy.
go
straight.
home, man.
It's okay. I don't remember the last time I got a haircut.
Wow. Well,
I did. It was.
we have other stylists at the salon that work with your type of
Thank you.
texture. And yeah, if you want to follow me on my personal page, it's a Browne, like A, you know, like
AYY?
nobody gets that. It's just AYE. Yeah.
AYE. A
less
Browne.
less of like A and more of like A. Exactly.
Yes,
The
perfect.
Browne with an E at the end. So not brownie. Don't say it. You wanted to say brownie.
No, I didn't. What the heck? You just
thought-
assumed? No.
You were like brown.
No, I was still thinking about the A.
Andy was a mile back going, what?
A.
It was a great moment. I was trying to relive it, guys. Come on.
Cool. Well, thank you so much.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys.
Everybody
Thank you.
go get the haircut at Roots Collective.
Roots
Only
Collective.
if you have curly hair. I mean, you can go to Roots Collective. They have
Yes.
other clients that
Only
can
for
see
me.
Go.
all of your styles.
Yes.
Roots Collective.
Boom.
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 Thank you.
Game over.
Wow.